And it was May 18th, Sunday. Strangely enough, Mimiya-san didn't lose her composure upon seeing the pile of gore Hashimoto-san was reduced to. She stood frozen in place, but that was it. The image of a woman trying to bear the shock and pain was both beautiful and moving. It seemed this I don't even know how to say that word. To say that considering I was the one responsible for her suffering, I couldn't help how I felt. However, what she did next sent a chill down my spine. She ignored Hashimoto-san's body, walked over to a shirt Hashimoto-san had left laying in the corner of the hut. She moved the shirt to the side, exposing a camera. We were recorded. Had he planned this with Mimiya-san ahead of time? Didn't take any precautions against that while smelling the body. We even talked to each other. She skillfully manipulated the did I have to destroy it now? No, I have no excuse for that. Straight would be over. Maybe we could try and going wild like Chimi and Mochi did. What was the point of that? I had to survive. If I went wild by myself, Haru... Again, what would be the point of that? She was just a girl you'd find anywhere. She got into a different situation, in a difficult reality, and learned from it, just like anyone else would. Even though it was hardly a normal form of growth, it was charming and beautiful to men. That much was obvious, but it was worth protecting with my own life. That question had to be answered with a no. However, I turned around and looked at Haru, standing in the end of the group. She had a knife in her hand. I slightly shook my head. After a moment of hesitation, she returned it back to the magazine. It was a foldable knife covered in blood belonging to Hashimoto-san. I picked it up and used it for dismembering the body. No, that didn't mean anything to us. If I hadn't turned around, Haru-chan have surely went in wild on her own. She was obviously going to protect me like that, even if it meant getting herself hanged. Man, I really liked that, but... I finally found a theoretical justification for scolding her properly. Up until this point, I thought it was important to consider what I'd do with her after the feast. I felt responsible for promoting her growth and making the evil girl blossom properly. In the end, though, the emergency before us was no emergency at all. A fixed camera? That's pretty bold. What did it show?
何も。ただ、遺体が延々と映ってるだけ。
Was the time within which the wolves were cut off from the rest of the world. Control through sleep, transformation through the real story myths, corruption, death loops, and digital video problems. Was it all disconnected to God? In this timeline, I gained a bunch of important info that brought me closer to the truth. That gave me a bad feeling, though. What if the truth and the subject of fear were one and the same? What if I never reached the truth? A limitless mystery meant limitless fear. Mom was a wolf. Everyone reacted with relief or surprise. Yoshitsugu-kun and I had reached the same conclusion. He seemed like the real thing, and it was hard to believe both of us were wolves. That meant that I told the truth, making me the real snake. I found another wolf today. It's Kiyonosuke no Soto. That's my lie would work. What? That can't be. I'm a human. I see how it is. Haruki Fuyashi, you were a wolf all along. And that was why his overreaction seemed like a pathetic struggle of a wolf. All that was left for me to do was lie until the end. I'm not lying. Yeah, he said the truth. I see. You got rid of one of the wolves just so you could survive. Reikeko, you're no wolf, are you? No. Miss Mimiya? They both looked at each other with suspicion. They were the only two wolves left, Kyonosuke and someone besides them.
まあ野里さんの疑いもそりゃわかるけれどね。狼をくくらなきゃおしまい。相変わらず究極の選択で手がかりはこれ見よがしな蛇のケージのみ。そして昨日亡くなったのが久石君に敵対的だった橋本さん。
We weren't that what we all call enemies. Suspicions had reasonable bias. In the end, even he voted for Kori-san yesterday.
それは彼女の言動から確実かつ迅速に排除すべきが彼女だと判断せざるを得なかったからでしょ。彼は最後まであなたに対しては警戒を怠るなと言っていたわ。香織さんにしたってあなたが仲間である彼女に命じて自滅的な行動を取らせたという可能性もあるでしょ。
Mimiya, I thought you were with me and Hashimoto-san on the opinion that people aren't driven mad
こ
so
れだけ
easily.
実例見せられたらもう十分よ。あなたについては最初からどういう人となりだったかも知らないしね。あなたが平然と彼女にそういう命令ができるほど狂ってて彼女がそれを受け入れるほど狂ってた可能性はある。そしてもしそうなら私
I had enough. I've had enough of being suspected no matter what I do. Of course you would be. You're a fake snake. And you're a fake human. We're the same. No one trusts either of us. We're
おお、
Popper.
どっちが勝つかな。
Giga Mochi, you little.
私は久石さんを信じるよ。
そっか。
Really?
僕はハッサンは超怪しいと思うな。
Miss Mimiya, can I assume you don't believe him? She was conflicted, obviously. Right, Gecko?
私は狼が狼をほふったとは考えづらいです。
But from my perspective, that's exactly what happened.
狼は親子3匹。その間にも特別な絆がありましょう。私たちが霧を恐れ宴を敬い安水のためにくぐられることを狼の方も他の狼を利しかばい守ることを。
That may have been the original
それなら
intent.
なおさら香織さんが犠牲的精神でああやったのかも。
Like hell. She was made into a wolf, forced to kill Aniki, and went insane. That's it. She wasn't even thinking any evil shit. That was probably how I would have been if I were a local. Perhaps Cory-san might have been thinking something like that too. She died because of a bargain. Her giving up on life and my sinister plotting. If Red Gecko was right and there was some sort of bond between the wolves, it didn't apply to us outsiders. Chimi had proven that last time, when she cruelly used an outsider wolf as a sacrifice. Anyways, now that I had Rekeko-san and Yoshitsugu-kun, I couldn't lose now. I had no idea what Mochi would do, but he could easily vote as we wanted him to despite knowing it was a mistake. There was no need to
ね
worry.
えこちゃん、どっちに投票する？
おじちゃん、狼？
I'm saying I'm not.
お兄ちゃんは人よね。
僕は猿だ。つまり人だ。
お姉、
私も人です。
ふざゆきさん。
I'm a human. If you want to be friends with the wolves, then I can't be friends with you.
メイコ、お願い目を覚まして。
お姉ちゃん嫌い。
It was actually kind of manageable. We continued to argue for a while, but no one provided anything decisive. Noon came and everyone became even hungrier and exhausted. Even so, no one said that we should vote because it was clear to all of us that result was inconclusive. It continued like this, no one would be hanged, human or wolf. That meant their defeat. But anyone who suggested that we not vote would be considered a wolf. Thus, the only one who suggested we end it was Mako, but only because she was hungry. Time passed, and we didn't get anywhere.
おな
How many times are you gonna say that, Brat?
もうあまり片付けのことも考えるともう宴をそれで人を任す気なのくくれなければ
Mimiya, please, you have to believe me.
もうどうすればいいの
僕もいい加減疲れてきたな。
If you don't know, shut
ちゃ
up.
んには期待してないもん。ハッサン、
Because the amount of people who vote for me and those who vote for him is the
う
same.
む。ヨッシーとハルちゃん。あ、じゃあ僕がおっちゃんに投票すれば解決すんじゃないか。早く言ってよも
No, wait, that leads to the humans'
う。
defeat.
まあどうせ負けるんならパッパと負けようよ。いいんじゃない？狼。
鴨志田様猿の加護者がおっしゃることでは
しょうがないよ。僕は桔梗の。
You're just like him. Kiyanosuke's quiet, sad voice drew everyone's attention, not just Mochi's. You're just like the head of the family from 3 generations ago. Your great-great-grandfather.
どういうことです
The Nosato family is third in terms of importance. The Migirurama are first. The Higachis are second. Our standing and wealth doesn't even compare to theirs. With the recent advances in medicine, herbalism, our family trade grew useless over the years. However, we continue to survive as the head family because we focus on study and research, following the mentality of the
カラス
crow.
の精神。爪を食ろうては技を盗み、目を食ろうては文を盗み、舌を食ろうてはことそう節々に捧ぐるがカラスの志なり。精神なんて最近の言葉だから間違いだってパパ。
Do not bother me with that. Anyways, it means that we must be contributable to our homeland through learning, even if it means preying on the dead and stealing knowledge.
藤吉の米
How's that related? We survived by learning Western medicine, engineering, technology before the other families.
植松とは
You may have my sympathies for growing up with nothing but the burden of tradition. Now we survived through our dedication to learning, but that was a moment when the entire structure almost fell apart. That was the time of the head of the family from 3 generations ago. He was insane, but at the same time an unparalleled genius. He amassed incredible wealth by leaving the village, investing in business and marketing to no normal person could understand. Even the war was a business opportunity for him. But soon after that, he grew away all contracts and deeds, shut himself in his mansion in Yasumizu. While the main house was in severe financial distress, he spent the rest of the days here using his powers as a village head to perform inhumane acts. As far as I know, he killed animals by the dozen on a whim just like you.
おー
That's why we were disowned. They thought you were the second coming of your great-great-grandfather and that you'd bring ruin to Nosato no Fujiyoshi. And now you're here nonchalantly making a mess of this life and death situation. You don't deserve a single vote.
言うけどカラスの志がおっちゃんのどこにあるのかな。よそかぶれで藤吉をバカにして安水をもっとバカにして 別にちゃんと働くでもなくさ、僕だってみんなのために黙ってることだってあるんだよ。
Oh, how I wanted to shut up. I wanted him to shut up
ハッ
right
サ
now.
ン、
Yes?
僕おっちゃんに票入れるから安心して投票に移りなよ。
待って、本当にこれでいいの？
Shut up. You've spent all this time doing nothing but worry about what you think.
もう
Let's start the vote. These were the results. While Yasugu, Orobi, Haru, and Rekeko 5 against 3. It was more difficult than I expected, but it was decided that Kiyonosuke Nosato will be hanged. Though he didn't struggle much, he was probably cursing me. How pathetic. I wanted to get this over. I really did.
ハッサンが噛みつかれたらいけないから僕がおっちゃん突き落とそっかな。ワクワク。
You little...
鴨志田様、私が
おっちゃんを喜ばすことないのに。
野里様。
You truly believe I am a wolf, I assume.
そうでなければ
Very well, you will eventually find out the truth in despair. Knowing what you will feel then makes me feel regret rather than anger. Oh, if only you were a wolf, then I could have proudly died to keep you alive. With this, I will only be a shield that gives you a day or
申し
two
訳
more.
ある。汚れも病毒も引き取れるものならいくらでも。
You really need to treasure your heart and body more. I am merely doing this out of... I simply want to find meaning in my own death. Haruki, hear this. Your misdeeds will become known, whether you win or lose. However, find whatever semblance of pride a villain like you may have, and stop doing things to make women cry. Since this is the last time we'll talk, let me clear this up. There's nothing between me and Rekeko-san.
そうですね。
Also, as you are aware, I am not a wolf. What a circus this has been. Don't you wolves have guns or something? The suffering from that would be over in an instant. Please do shoot me. I'm willing to praise your excellent performance, but honestly, I'd had enough. I had enough of looking at your face too. Fine by me. Just fucking go. You don't have to tell me
よろ
that.
しい。
Please back away, Reikeko.
しかし
Back away. I shall do this myself. She backed off. Ah. Until the very end, he was so pitiful. No, so human. He jumped, fell, with a pathetic sounding cry. Everyone separately whispered, "Rise not," and left the graveyard. Things were going as always until the moment. He's right.
そうだわ。
She said
いろ
that.
いろあってすっかり忘れて。芹沢さんが自殺した銃、あれを探すって話は？
We said we'd search for the gun Sarazawa used to kill herself. Everyone froze.
一番危惧すべきは狼が銃と弾丸を持ち帰ったということだと思うんです。実在が不確かな銃を必要以上に恐れるのもどうかとは思うんですが、それでもこの後各自の部屋をざっとでも見て
それで見つかるように隠す。
探す姿勢を見せることが大事です。
構わねえ。
During the second feast, after Chimi had died, we talked about where the guns may have went. But after we hanged the old wolf guy, everyone had forgotten about that. I was actually curious about it too. Honestly, if I had to guess, I'd say that great Lord Shinnai cleaned it up, like he did with the wolf outfit. And it'd be bad for us if Mochi or someone else got their hands on it. Gotten this far, I didn't really want to die to a gunshot right before the finish line. That's insane, just leave it. We should look through everyone's houses whether they're alive or not. It'll be in one of your rooms, won't it?
一応言っておくけど、狼が持ち去ったかどうかは不明だからね。そして私から見ればあなただって疑いがゼロ。
Alright, sorry, let's stop wasting time on
いい
that.
わ。でも
Mochi, it should be enough to finish cleaning up. You should give a look to all of them. Even if it's brief, it's not enough. We can look around more thoroughly tomorrow. Why not start with the men's place
う
first?
わエッチ。
Don't mess around at a time like this. I don't care. I ain't hiding that.
それはなんかやだ。男は男で調べてよ。女は
こんな時だから本当は全体でやるのがいいんでしょうけど、ひとまずはそれでいいかしら。わかりました。まずは
Fine by me. We'll go then.
はい。心苦しいですが、どうか。
The cleanup was unexpectedly easy. Of course it was. We cut him up in small pieces. After 4 trips of putting his remains on a door, carrying it to Sananaga, we threw in the bloody futon and the cloth. After we washed our hands, we were done, so we went and joined the girls in their searching for the gun. They were all in the dorm. Haruchin's room. Their faces were completely frozen. What happened? After a moment, I realized, no way. A mistake. A mistake like this. Mimiya was holding a new dark flashlight.
ごく新しいものね。海外メーカー製。作りもしっかり。電池はまだある。買った時についてたと思しき電池のままで。これも海外製。物意味の夜にこんなものがなぜ必要なのか。
Hasako Mimiya's face was soon warped by a look of
お
vicious
小遣いも満足にもらえない彼女がどうしてこんなものを持てたのか。
I looked and noticed that Reikako's umatsu was full of content and mercy.
外でこれを買って彼女に与えられたのが誰だったのか。
Haru Mikishima's face was pale with fear.
久石春明、牧島春、弁明はあるかしら。
I did think there had to be something. Haru-chan's face might have said it all, but I had to be able to explain it. Let us both get through this. There had to. Crap. All the lies I could think of only left us. Oh crap, it'd be pretty forced, but I had to turn on the flashlight. She said she liked movies, and I had to have 2 flashlights, so I gave her one. I completely ignored the foundation that stated that no one else would know about this if we talked about it at night, but I could force this and make them believe. 50 seconds passed, but it was still in the safe zone. That's a... Shut up. I blacked out for a moment, fell to the floor. A dull impact slammed into my face. Don't let this asshole talk. Of course I wasn't in the safe zone. The Feast of the Yomi Purge was a game of communication, but it didn't forbid violence. Some got the upper hand by communication, using only words. Others would naturally try and get their point across through other means. I underestimated that fact. Yoshiku's violence quickly neutralized me. Head, back, arms, the legs still hurting from the sprain. Chairs, sticks, whatever he could use to beat me senseless. Couldn't resist in any meaningful way. He was well trained and had the motivation, bloodlust, to go with the violence. And continued until Reikako brought rope. My consciousness was faded, but I hadn't lost it yet. By the end, it just meekly begged him to stop. I might have even cried, but I was shown no mercy. Before I knew it, it was dark. It seemed to be in the prefab. In the end, I didn't know what it was, so I probably lost consciousness. The wolf's outfit was right next to me. Time for work, huh? I can move somehow a bit, wiggling around. I felt something fall apart. The rope on me had been worn and undone. Moving around caused me pain. even thinking that was a challenge. I couldn't do anything like this. The clothing was right there, but I couldn't wear it. Oh, they beat me up to a pulp to whether someone would die with me like this. So there wasn't any need to remove limbs. Huh. A good beating was more than enough to pay a person for the night. They'd probably done the same to Haru-chan. We were checkmate. Oh well, this was just a careless mistake. I just wouldn't give Haru-chan the flashlight next time. She could have easily gotten this far without it.
それは違いますぞ、悪党殿。
I heard a voice right next to me. Fighting the pain, I turned to the source. Saw her wearing that weird outfit.
この娘があれを送られて内心どれほど喜んだかご存知ないか。あれもなくば悪党殿は未だ他人行儀に呼ばれておるであろうよ。
Then next time I'll bring her something consumable like
無
sweets.
理じゃ無理。貴様は十二分に疑われ何薄汚い狼の皮から抜け落ちた毛一本が出ても貴様は同じ目に王手を打ったわ。幾度目か落ちてご存知であろう。定めなどと無粋は申しませぬがの。同じことが起きれば同じように振る舞う。人とは存外
She had a point.
からくりじみた代物じゃ。
On the other hand, a similar situation would cause similar reactions. He's saying that my death here is
お
unedible.
やおやおやおやおや。我は別に参りましょうぞ。霧の山里へ。これが最後の仰せじゃ。
I took her hand and strangely enough managed to stand up. She got me in the wolf's clothing, some water all over it, and the murder was assembled. She then took me by the hand and led me to the darkness. Miss. Why am I alive? Also, why is Haru-chan
無
okay?
事殴る蹴るはされましたぞ。ただ貴様よりは悪辣に見えなんだ。
Good point. I acted the good guy and lied to them with every
貴
breath.
様と娘が生きておられるのはのう。貴様を放って死なせれば
Who pointed that
こ
out?
の娘をついておるものじゃ。
Mochi. He probably said that just to keep her alive a bit longer.
誰を殺しますかの。
Yoshitsugu.
カラスのカゴシ。
If we let him live, you'd find out that Kiyanosuke no Sato was a human.
よいよい。悪党
What a mean thing to say. Are humans that comical to
獣
you?
は皆必死に気高い。その様はすべて我が目には愛おしゅう映りまする。
Beast, huh? Yeah, I really was an insane villain. A wolf. Then I would just struggle until the very end. Yoshitsugu Orobi was murdered. I mustered some fighting spirit and hatred for what he had done to me. A hit on the head, another one, and another one. Once I was done, Haru applauded. That wasn't because I was doing the right thing from the perspective of the real story. Applaud was directed at me as a person. Almost made me cry again. Been thrown into such an awful situation, became one of the worst human beings being imaginable. Yet, I still had someone who acknowledged and accepted me. I had God. I appreciated that she was here. I was lying on some grass, looking up at the milky darkness. Strangely enough, there was no beast here in the graveyard, near the hanging pine.
気張られましたな。悪いや春明殿。
It had been because of her. Villain is fine. In a way, it all worked out. To tomorrow will reveal what we are. We'll then bring Mako to our side and win
そ
this.
して霧が晴れたらどうなさる？
I considered giving a vague response, but I knew it was pointless with her. I'll take Haru-chan and leave this place.
貴様はつくづく
Why?
信頼明神が貴様を逃がすとお思いか？
Great Lord Shinai? Not the third
そう
god?
じゃよもやかの神を侮るなど慢心なすったか？
No. I'm within the palm of Great Lord Shinai's hand. Thought I was an
そ
exception.
う決め込むには貴様はこの地へ落ち返しすぎたのではあらせられまいか？
I make my own rules.
そうでございましたな。まあでは
That sounds like a pain. Still, I'll do it.
この娘のためかやそれとも我のためかや？
Taking you both outside sounds like a good time.
やはり貴様は悪党であらすの。おお、これはこれは。
I wondered what she meant by that. But then I realized that I had, again, telepathy was some mess up shit. That's an invasion of privacy, pervy
つ
god.
くづく失礼なお方よ。して明日はどうなさるおつもりじゃ？
I mean, Haru and I would reveal that we were wolves, like Yasunaka had done. Then we'd take Mako to our side. Mako's anger was probably the kind you direct at someone close to you. Like the real story, she said. She believed that wolves were good and humans were evil. It wasn't born out of Yasumizu's madness. Thus she assumed that Rikeko and I were evil and felt betrayed. When I revealed that I was a wolf, she gladly joined me, and most likely, with that, we had 3 votes. There was a chance that it would turn physical then, but I just neutralized Yoshitsugu-kun, the most likely to do it. Our victory was certain.
それはうまくいきませんぞ。
You know?
わかる。
What should we do then?
こうじゃ。
I thought I'd gotten used to the pain by now, but oh, was I so wrong. Where did she get that branch? I wanted to ask that, but I wasn't in a state to do it, for I was already lying defenseless on the grass. I felt my body lent to get dragged. Another thing.
だ、
Nah,
いいんだ。
this is fine. This is fine. I heard her whisper that over and over again. The next morning, I woke up in a lot less pain. Though I couldn't even tell if I actually woke up. My conscience was far too vague. Last night I got beat up so badly I couldn't even stand. None of my wounds were life-threatening, but that was why my body was sensitive. I felt like I had just recovered from paralysis. That was normal. The fact that I couldn't walk around at night was abnormal. My body had been bound once more. Had Great Lad actually tied me up again? Had he restored the torn ropes or something? No, it was tied differently, or a different spot. This is a different rope put on me some later. Also did not seem kinda clumsy. It's Haru. She was using me for something.
立てる不妻子春秋。
She entered like this, like no big deal. They confiscated my key, apparently.
何？
I couldn't force my voice in the
いいわ。
words.
引きずっていくから。
She was curt with me. However, I could tell with her voice and action that she was perplexed by something. She actually dragged me, still bound down to the hill, to the plaza, leaving me even more beat up. It was hard to get me up the stairs. She kicked me in frustration. Everyone's already there. Reikeko, Meiko, Chika, and
ようおいでになったの町のお方。
what? It was morning, and yet she was.
これはどういうこと？何なのよこれは。
She directed that shot at me, and it was clear who the source of her
何
confusion
を
was.
わめいておられる町の奥方。お姉ちゃん変。
梅松さん、説明してくれないかしら。
牧島春様は
なんですって？
狼付き。
は？
そうじゃ。
Huh? What?
やれやれやれやれやれ。黄泉があまりに退屈ゆえトトは早速戻らされ、カカも先に戻ってまあ暇は潰れたかの。散々殺して。
ちょっとどういうことよ。狼ってそういうものなの？
かつて人は狼を殺した。その
ストーリーのことじゃなくて。
桔梗の振る舞い。
そう。
Yes, that's not the
そういう
fe-
ことじゃ
the
ない
piece
で
is
しょ。
supposed to be, is
これ
it?
は殺人事件のはずでしょ。
私はこのようなことが起きても。
あなたは鴨志田君。
僕にはりっちゃん、はるちゃんの病気。
本来ならば狼付きなどであればネヤのはしためは神内明神の末のお守り。
よくわかんないからさ。はるちゃんは昔こうなった時から狼になる運命だったってこと？
わかり。
昔こうなった？
いかにもいかにも。我は8年前くくられ黄泉に戻されるところをところが早々に霧が引いてしまいましての。それで次の
I
どうなされた町のお方。口で仰せずはわかりませぬぞ。
You weren't destined to get the wolf's blessing. You already knew the real story. You knew exactly what I wanted to say. Why was she tilting her head and smiling? No. I knew her intentions.
さてさてさてさてさて、こたびの宴も随分と寂しくなったことであるし、
But I couldn't
く
understand
く
it.
るがよろしかろう。
Why would she go this far?
どうするの？どうすればいいの？
牧島春様は今朝縄を解いて錠前をものともせぬ狼様なら。
それじゃこいつが動けてないのはどういう？こいつが牧島春が人だって言ったから、ライトを渡してたから。
おっしゃいましたね。
じゃあどう説明するのよ。なんでこいつが嘘つく人？
すべての理由を聞く前に。
あなただって止めなかっただろうが。
はい、昨日のことで。しかしどれほど恥でも不妻子様おつらいでしょうが、本当のことを。
はっきり言ってよ。
I'm Do I have the ability? Not a wolf. I'm the snake. I fell for Haru-chan, so I lied. I was really conflicted. I wanted only Haru-chan to win, so I got rid of the other wolves.
狼を二人まで見つけ、蛇としての信頼を得て、それで人を 裏切って。でもあなたの愛した牧島春様は。
心はもう。
I wanted to shed tears, because I actually felt like crying.
最後にあの機会は。
She said she liked what, so I just gave it to her. I wanted to get closer to her.
夜霧を投げば面白うございましたぞ、町のお方。
I could easily lie. The pain in my chest was just from my wounds.
お聞きですか、春明様は。母情ゆえに、そして投票を。
待って待って待って、あり
夫妻子春明様は安水の出身ではない。鴨志田様。
春ちゃん、本当にそれでいいんだね。
何のことか。
じゃ春ちゃんに。
町の奥方に。
牧島春様に。夫妻子様。
Fuck. I had to talk. I was the only one who decided to be evil. I had to play the villain until the bitter end.
いいわ、言わなくても。夫妻子くん、悪いけど謝れない。同情はするけど、あなたは害悪。牧島春に1票、これで3票。彼がどう入れたって覆せないでしょ。
くくります。
Fuck, fuck, fuck.
陣内さんの日かがちふましらみからすよぐもしばらくここも見納めじゃのう。
The funeral was different. The wolf was cheerful. With a spring in her step, she went in front of the group if she was excited for what would happen at the hanging pine. I was walking at the very end, supported by Reikiko. It was an act of repentance.
あやしおみびとけがらえり。あやしおみびとなきにせん。なんじゃ。
What? Must I sing
歌って
alone?
いただけぬの。
Basically, everyone was uneasy. Of course they would be. They were dealing with an actual god. One soul per day now to bind. The mist rise away again. Thus, Shinai's guardians are. I had to sing even if I was the only
よ
one.
きかな。
How pleasing. That was the only kind of atonement I could make.
縄を。
I had to tie the rope.
飛べばよろしいのじゃ
狼様。
な。なんでしょうや。
What is it, priest of the spider?
狼様はどうして落ちて人とお守りを。
そうか、そうか、そうか、そうか、そうか。まだ皆々様は哀れじゃのう。愛おしゅうあらせられるのう。特別に我らが
You rise
我
up.
らがそうやって生きておるからじゃ。
Losing her words, Reikiko bowed a little and backed away.
さて、
Everyone backed away.
皆々様はようお歌いになりましたな。さらば島は
More than that, her back looked
こ
actually
れに
defined.
て失礼。
She took a step towards the cliff. Haru-chan, before I knew it, I was the one closest to her. My body and mind were so numb that I couldn't move forward or back. All I could do was call out to her. She stopped. I had nothing I could say. That was when the cloth on her face fell away.
バレちゃった。
You realize I knew it.
かっこ悪い。
With that, she jumped towards me and kissed my ear. And just like that, she turned around and ran. No, I was done cool one here. I half expected this to happen. I'd seen the signs, yet I'd still let her do it. No, that was wrong too. She lived the way she wanted. Just like I asked, she ignored what the others thought and gave both her mind and body to sacrifice unparalleled advice. Was I supposed to be some sort of teacher warning her against it and setting her to the proper path? In the end, I was just regretful that I had broken the rules I'd established. It should have been the other way around. I wasn't supposed to be me. She should have been the villain among villains, who betrayed and sacrificed her comrade to live on. She was consumed by the mists, and that was that.
お熱いことね。それに巻き込まれて死にそうだったって考えたら腹がた。
I'm sorry. Maybe I closed in on the
ちょっ
cliff.
といい？
Everyone did as she said. Then she dragged the rope out. It was supposed to have Haru-chan's weight on it, yet she could reel it in without any trouble.
何？逃げたの？
In a panic, she quickly brought the rope back up. Soon enough, we saw the end. Everyone fell silent. The noose was covered in fresh blood. Haru-chan's linen had been torn the moment she went taut. I had no idea what happened next, how I left the graveyard, but the others were doing. The pain and difficulty breathing was too much at this point. Was I conscious? If so, why couldn't I feel anything? If not, was I asleep or had I fainted? I couldn't tell. My whole body felt heavy and was in pain, feeling completely crushed. I had a nightmare where I was surrounded by countless smiling Haru. A dream could only mean I was sleeping. Before I knew it, the pain had vanished, leaving me to suffer only regret and sadness. I opened my eyes. Where was I? It looked like a poorly made hut. Right next to me I saw Rekeko. Rekeko? My body was...
ご無理はなさらないで。
I only hurt because I had been lying on a hard floor. The wounds were gone though.
よかった。
Did you do something?
傷と苦痛を引き取りました。
That had to be a joke. Is there anything the Amatsu superpower couldn't do? Think. I wanted to prioritize gratitude before shock, but then I saw the filthy blood in a bucket at her side.
驚かれましたか？植松家の娘の。
Well, that's certainly strange.
そうでしょうか。先ほどもうなされておいででした。
That was because of the dream, not any wound. Are you okay though?
はい。この曲芸のために植松の娘よくなられたならば。
Sorry, I almost forgot. I was a lying snake, the worst possible guardian receiver who'd almost destroyed the humans. What time is it?
時計は持っておりません。
I finally realized that my surroundings were tainted orange. Right, I know, I can't thank you enough, so I must take my
不
leave.
妻子様、
She called out to me, but I didn't turn around.
私は無理もないことでしょう。藤吉のものとして生まれたのでもそのような方が宴に招かれるべきでは
Hadn't changed at
く
all.
れぐれも不妻子様が私たちは
Good night. I was afraid of hearing that motionless
さゆき
voice.
さん、
She stood outside the room, but I ignored her.
ハッサン、
Someone called out to me
言
from
い
the
たい
mist,
ことがあるからまた明日。
and then he left. I returned to the prefab. Slept. Woke up. Changed into the wolf's outfit. Mimiya. All by myself. Five in the morning. I had no idea what it was, if the Uematsu's treatment was just that good, but I woke up natural. No drowsiness, fatigue, not even the pleasant feeling you got when you stretched to shake off the weight. You all arrived at the plaza at the same time. Haruaki, Ekeko, Meiko, Chikamochi. Strangely enough, I did not think this was a coincidence. Like we agreed to gather here at the same time, and everyone noticed that someone was no longer with us. And we'll continue next time.